talk about your wide situation. What's happening with the wides there?
Who are you calling wide? I'm losing weight.
Oh, well.
All right. So everybody's talking about front wides. Front wides, what's all the hoopla about? What is all the scuttlebutt, as they say? So I put the front wides in, and I asked our boy Jeremy, because he's Mr. Front Wide over there, talking about all the movies that use 9.1.6, since that's now the setup is in here 9.1.6, which is great. Finally, I went in and kind of just watched. Okay, so I have two amplifiers, right? One of them powers all the 7.1 speakers, so the 7 ear level, the main ones. And then the other amplifier powers the heights and the front wides. So easy. Turned off one amplifier. Watching something like 300 on 4K disc, yeah, that's very tough. I had to go in and unplug the heights. Damn. That movie's got a lot of front wide use. Holy shit. That's a lot. So it's just the front wides and the LFE are on. That's it. I went back to Lord of the Rings, and I was just, doing emails and doing other stuff. And at some point I would hear something, you would think, but 45 minutes went on and nothing. 45 minutes and nothing. All of a sudden some bass came through the subwoofer. I'm like, oh, front wide's non-existent. Ready Player One. Everybody loves Ready Player One car chase scene. Ready Player One, however, notorious for being a 7.1.2 static bed mix, meaning no heights. And sure enough, no heights at all. No height use at all. Not even accidentally. So I did this. I literally sat around here. I moved some stuff around. I was just kind of getting a little impatient and just waiting for some sound to come through. The front wides. Was very, very blown away just now by Godzilla versus Kong. Holy shit. It's like from the onset, it's almost like 300. From the onset of the film, there's something going on in there. Whether it's a score, whether it's sound effects, or something quickly moving on screen. The Matrix, watched a little bit of that. Almost the whole thing last night. I was here till like 1:30 last night. And I had personal training at 9 a.m. I had to run home, make sure I got some sleep. Didn't really get much sleep. Free Guy, I love that movie. It had quite a bit. Midway in the all of the air scenes. Ford versus Ferrari had a great scene at the beginning, and then the rest of the movie, nothing.
Whoa, wow. Okay. Yeah. So you're talking about content right now. Like, what is utilizing the front wides is
right.
The first thing. Now the question is, for those movies that utilize front wides in conjunction with the rest of the speakers that you have, what is the experience?
It takes it up another level of immersion, right? Because now we're getting oh, dude, Hacksaw Ridge. I forgot how violent that movie was. Holy crap, man. And there's nothing in the front wides until you start the battle scenes. Whew. And then it's just, if you thought you were there, oh, you're even more in there. And I swapped out receivers, or I swapped out processors, so I'm using the Marantz AV10. And because I wanted to make sure, I want to have a on-screen display, right? So I know what signal's coming through, and I can make sure everything's working properly. Because some Netflix shows on my Roku Ultra were not coming in Atmos, but the same movie on Vudu was coming in Atmos, or Fandango now, whatever it's called now. So, is it worth it? I don't know.
Okay, so how about this? Let's just keep it. I'll ask the questions I know people will have, right?
Okay.
If you had to choose between front wides versus top middles, All right. So that's the difference between a 7.1.6 with 6 heights or 9 ear levels and only 4 height speakers.
914.
Yep.
So 13 channels. So who's that? That's going to be Yo Van Gool, what's up? That's going to be 13 channel, right? Like the Denon X6700H, 6800H. Which one would you rather run?
Yeah.
Okay, hold on. I
assuming a room that's just like you, where you could run both. Bless you.
Thanks.
Assuming a room that you can run both, because some people will not be able to run, one or the other for whatever reason. Things are in the way, things like that. Yeah. But let's say you had the choice to do either one. What are you doing? Just from a sound standpoint.
I think middle heights. I think 716.
Really?
Yeah. From the little bit. I mean, it's only been like 4 days. Right. Because I had to I did a straight up level match with the spatial audio calibration toolkit. Make sure you pick up the best upgrade for your home theater that's under $100. Go to spatialsky.com and get yours while supplies last.
I have to agree with that one.
Shit, I just dropped it. Good thing the disc is actually in the Xbox, and it works on an Xbox Series X. Fantastic. So I used that. I did level match. I did crossovers, and then I did distances. I just did distance. I didn't do our TikTok thing. I used a laser measure.
So real quick, did you actually watch these movies with the other speakers and the wides, or did you listen mostly with just the wides by themselves?
I did mostly listen to the wides by themselves, but then I just went and turned the one amplifier back on.
Okay.
And then listened to that scene again. When I heard something going on in the front wides, I'm like, oh damn. And then I watched the scene, and then it stopped, and then I go back and then turn the rest of the speakers on.
Well, I would imagine that front wides would make it sound wider. Does it make your sound stage sound wider? Like, what is the effect?
No. I mean, I would think that's just a placement. That's a front wide. No, not wider. The sound stage does not get widened.
Okay.
It's almost like, people say it's like filling in a gap. It's pretty small in here. And I'm looking at them now. It's kind of small in this room, so I don't think there is a huge. I mean, it's kind of a big gap.
Mm-hmm.
From front left to surround left, and this front wide just kind of fills it in here. It just doesn't. If there's nothing there or nothing placed there, it doesn't do anything, right? But on these ones like Godzilla and stuff, and the 300 was fantastic, and that's old. That just that's older, right? I know Jeremy or Reverend Slim, whatever you want to call him, he says to check out any like new series or new movie from Netflix, right? Yeah. But they were also redoing the internet here at the office over the weekend. They were migrating to a different system, so I didn't have internet. I only had everything that was on my hard drive. So I'm going to check those things out and wrap that all up into a nice video, put a little bow on it.
So I'm still confused about what it offers. Does it offer more precise placement of sounds?
Yeah, I would say so. And they put other stuff in there too. Like they put the score. They put so like now this, like it's almost as if it's like a multi-use speaker.
Well, it's let's just put it this way. It's not like those sounds would just disappear if you didn't have the wides. They would probably put them in the front, left, and right, or in the surrounds partially.
Correct. Yeah,
it's going to be somewhere in the mix, right?
Those. Yeah.
So the question is like, why place other speakers that have, the content mixed specifically for those speakers? Like, what do you get? What do you do here?
I mean, I guess if you had a really deep room. How about this? Let's say you had 2 rows of seating and you wanted to use like a bipole for your side surround so that you can place the bipole in between the 2 seats, right? So people in the front row can hear, people in the back row can hear some of that. Then maybe you got like a big old gap from your fronts to your sides. That would kind of just fill it in a little bit better.
Okay, so Tim here is saying same reason we have center speakers to an extent is why you want wides. Do you feel like it anchors the sound a little bit more? If you're not like in the center, right? You're not in the best seat. Would it help kind of anchor things in a way?
I guess it could definitely help in that.
You're not selling me on this. That's all I know. I'm not sold on the wides. Are you not?
I don't think I'm sold either. Thank God it wasn't like an expensive thing for me to do.
But that's what you have to offer, right? Like, isn't that the whole idea? Is like, if you're not overly impressed, you can actually. I'm curious to see what happens if you go into Logic and just start placing stuff there.
Oh no, that is great. That is awesome. I listened to like that Atmos mix I have of Escape, specifically mixed in 916. I put chords in there, literally just chords in the front wide location. And so I just sit up there. I'm like, oh, okay. Yeah, that's it. It's just there. And then I turn off all the speakers except the front wides and I'm like, and it's just silence and then dun, the chords in there.
Okay.
Silence. Dun. So that sounds great. And then when all the speakers are running, all 916, but I did that on purpose, right?
Okay. So the question is this though. If you were to take that exact same mix, play it on 7 ear levels, it's still going to come from somewhere in between. Are you going to be like, oh man, I really miss having the wides? Or are you just going to be like, nah?
I don't think so. It happens so fast. It's like, I mean, when you were here and we played the Dirac, like that actually put the sound pretty close to where it should be. Like where the speaker was.
I remember because it did like such a good time alignment and phase alignment, and your speakers are well matched. The tonality is well matched. When it played the sound, we're like, that. It sounds like you have a wide speaker.
Said, oh shit! Yeah, it sounded like there was a front wide speaker there. So I guess it depends. It depends on how well your processor handles a front wide. That's it. That's it. How well does it image that speaker? What's your configuration like? Do you have 10 feet between your front stage and your side surround? That could also be an issue. Because at the end of the day, like, the reason why a center channel works for us is because both ears are pointed forward, right? We have a left and a right, or reverse, whoever's watching this. But then we got the center because we have a left and right ear. But this is all happening on the left side. And so just because there's two speakers trying to create a phantom image doesn't mean it's going to work 100% correctly because we only have the one ear on this side. Like if I did this, then yeah, I'd be like, oh yeah, it's right there. Right? But we're not watching the movie turn.
Yeah. Okay, how about this though?
90 degrees,
What do you think would happen? Because right now you have a rectangular room.
Yeah.
And so you're basing the placement on a rectangular layout. If you had if you set them up in a circular setup where they're all exactly the same distance from you, I guess you do have it set up like that, huh? They're all the same distance. So it's like a circular setup.
Yeah, pretty much.
So if you looked at the side, like if you looked at the room from the side, would the side surrounds be somewhat further out from you than the wides? Outwards, like along the wall. Let's say if the left surround was like completely on the wall, if it's circular, that means that the wide would not be against the wall; it'd be kind of in from the wall slightly.
Yeah. I can do that on the. It's like that on the right side, but on the left side, I'm out of room. So on the left side, it's a little bit more. I mean, it's against the wall, but it's not doing that like arc like you're talking about, right? Whereas the right hand side, it's doing that a little bit better. But yeah, I don't really see the point in it unless there's something in there. And then with all the new stuff, the way we're doing the vocals on the new Atmos remixes, yeah, the voice comes right out of there. some of these movies, that monologue from 300 at the beginning, some of his voice kind of like seeps into the front wides, along with the like he's outside, the kid's outside.
Yeah,
you know, when he's talking about windswept pines and the winter cold and all this kind of stuff, we're getting, you know, sound effects coming from there. That's cool. Like as long as there's shit that's there, I guess it's worth it. But if there's a whole lot of nothing, only time will tell.
What would happen if you put them in the wrong place? You know, I say wrong place, but like a lot of people put them halfway between the left speaker and the surround. Would it kind of exaggerate the effect, do you think?
Maybe
That's why I like it though.
Pointed right at you, right? It's now like not as discreet as it should be because you're now changing the physical location of the speaker. Somebody commented something pretty ignorant earlier today on my channel, talking about 15 minutes of you showing us that you don't know anything about DSP. I was like, I was gonna respond. And what is you said it the other day? What does the Trinov book say? First, put the speakers in the right place, and then let the room correction do its thing. So
right.
You want to put the speaker ahead of where the renderer thinks it's supposed to be, then you may or may not, depending on how sophisticated the room correction or your AV receiver or pre-pro is, it may not represent the sound as the artist intended or whatever you want to call it, due to the physical location of the speaker. So that's it. You know.
Okay.
You know.
Now, if you can't catch the show, we do have an audio version at anchor.fm/daily HiFi. So make sure to go on over there if you like to listen to the show.